It's a Tuesday, and we are live, and this is the Bennington Show, the only father-daughter radio show in the history of radio. I'm Gail Bennington.
I'm Ron Bennington. I'm still trying to figure out whether the Tarantino-Quarantino joke makes sense. You know what I mean? It's not like tar rhymes with quar.
True, but there
Vito,
is
I felt like that. I laughed, and then I go, wait, that's a stretch. That doesn't really match up properly. I really feel like Florentine is the thing I wanted to catch on. I also like, Vito, the snack thing, because I've never seen that viral thing that you take like a cheese puff, a Reese's cup, an M&M. You try to think of as many different famous snacks to shove in your big fat hole at the same time and then eat. That seems like it could go big.
I'll start the viral snack challenge with the snacks I have at home today. I'm willing to do that.
Here's the problem, Vito, and don't take this the wrong way, but you have healthy snacks. This seems like a Chris Stanley situation.
Yep.
By the way, I was also reading this during the big world quarantine that Chris is a big part of something, and that is the weird sourdough bread baking. Apparently, this is going on all over the place, and I had no idea of it until, Chris baked his breads.
He is, he loves to be like top of the pops, that kid. You know what I mean? Like whatever the big trend is, that's him. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. At first I thought it was unique. But...
Yeah. No, it's just like his sneakers. You know what I mean? He's always, I'm like, man, how's he doing this? And now I understand he's just getting the Yeezy brand. No matter what they come out with, he gets them first.
He's a hype beast is what he is.
Well, that's a pretty cool name,
Or a yeast beast.
In this case. In this one case. Not all the time, but just when it comes to breads. But isn't that weird? I mean, is the fact that people weren't baking bread is because we did not have enough time to bake bread?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's something that takes patience and time, and we have all of that now. We have nothing but time.
Well, yeah, I'm impatient, but I do seem to have quite a bit of time. Now, I'll say this as well. I bet the fat cats over at the big Wonder Bread headquarters are looking at this as the second wave of this corona problem. They're going to they're going to bake us out of business here.
This is horrible.
It'll be like with the beers where whatever town you go in, like, what local beers do you have? What are your local breads that you have right now? It's the Bennington Show in the middle of the quarantine. We're all locked down, but there's starting to be the first rumblings that maybe this thing will, start and have some light at the end of the tunnel, because the NBA is now talking about maybe a mid-May. And I'm like, oh, that's surprising after I saw that the Olympics aren't going to go. Now the NBA will be back. But
yeah. I think there's like a lot of knee jerk right now. Like everyone went all in and they're like, let's do this. And for some reason, there's shakiness. People are starting to worry about money. And so they're like, let's weigh out the consequences. It's a very nerve-wracking week, I feel.
Yeah, and it's going to be nerve-wracking into the entire future. By the way, we were talking about Crystal yesterday, and she says half of her ICU is COVID. She tweeted out, and she said that people are very, very, very sick that have this thing. So Ian Hawkins also wrote this, snack off challenge, more like jack off challenge. Whew. That could be up for tweet of the day.
Yeah, and also, how much can you fit in your mouth? Either way.
Well, you got to be a person with a big mouth, right? And that's why I also think this could be another. Chris Stanley has a cave of a mouth. You know what I mean?
He does.
King of Burritos also wrote this. Oh, yeah, much better start today. All right, people are noticing you now, Vito. They're seeing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. They're picking up on it. Maybe, while we're in these times, we give out a pretty good prize every day to the best tweet that happens.
Oh, I like
You
that
know what I mean?
idea.
Make this quarantine a little more fun. Did everybody else hear that?
Yes. Did
What
either of
was
you
it?
touch your mic cord?
Yes. It was me. Gail, did you disappear?
Gail? I'm gonna call Gail and figure
All
out how to
right.
get her hooked back up.
Okay. It's the Bennington show, and we are into the quarantine. As you could hear, we lost Gail in Brooklyn, and those things are going to happen from time to time. Matter of fact, I'm surprised that we don't have much more problems than what we do right now. They got us hooked up. And I mentioned this before. Jim McClure was way ahead of the corporations, way ahead of the government by figuring out that this quarantine thing was going to come down like weeks before. And he went out and got us these units that we're able to broadcast from each of our homes. Chris Stanley he's only being able to be hooked up by phone because he was planning on being in the studio every day with Vito, but and then at the last minute he found out that he had been exposed. He was having a dinner date with a gentleman who has the coronavirus, and apparently it got pretty hot and heavy, and Chris just gave in to his animal instincts, and now he's concerned. Do we got Chris hooked up, Vito?
Yes, we do. Chris, can you hear us?
Hey, Ron. How's it going, everyone?
Hey, what did that sound like when Gail went offline?
It was just like a very quick, static, like a very quick, short piece of static, and then Gail was gone. That's
Gone.
what I heard on my end on the phone.
Yeah, in my headphones it was incredibly loud. Chris, did you know that you were part of this sourdough thing that's taking place all over the country and all over the world?
I had no idea I was part of something, Ron. So I'm just here in this apartment making bread. I'm not really looking out to other people for tips or anything. And now that I hear that other people are making bread, I feel very hip right now, for once.
You are very hip, yeah. But does it also make you feel competitive?
Well, of course, I want to have the best fucking quarantine bread, Ron. I want the best. I want no one else to fucking give me any shit.
Now, I was thinking, about opening up a bakery with you, but now I'm going in a different direction because I kind of feel like home baking seems to be the thing, less industrial and more organic. Maybe we open up a little farm store. Union Square is still open every Saturday.
That would be great, like artisanal breads. I think that would be the hook.
That's the word I was looking for. Artisanal. 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. I'm going to explain something that's going on right now, too. This is another part of the zeitgeist thing. But apparently, a lot of the people who are quarantined are thinking about somebody that they wish that they were quarantined with. So, in other words, and I got this from Ez, the one who sent it to me, but he said he kind of finds himself thinking all the time about an ex, right? And I think this quarantine is giving us a chance to look back and think, what did I fuck up? You know what I mean? What did I screw up in my life? And let's face it, you don't really think about jobs or careers or business opportunities. When something like this comes up, you think about your personal life. And I thought maybe we'd throw that out to see that if this is universal the same way. So 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Maybe if we like some of your responses, you got a chance at that pretty good prize closet. 844 Rock God. But think for a second. Are you thinking about an ex that maybe you broke up with? Or I was thinking about this as well. Is there some girl that you're thinking about? She kind of would have been perfect for you, but she was dating somebody else. Or you were dating somebody else, you know? You felt that chemistry, but the timing did not work out. You were both in some kind of circumstances. Or, and to me, this is the saddest of all, you fucking pussy. You protected your little ego, and you didn't approach her, and you blew your chance. That's always, to me, the most aggravating one. I always have a feeling that there's some girl that was holding a red Solo cup that you did not take the shot, and you find her haunting you. You might have only seen her one time, but and you decided not to approach, never saw her again. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. I'm going to check back in with Vito before we get this going, though. Vito, what seems to be the problem? Do you know?
I'm talking to Gail right now. Seems like her system crashed, so she is speaking to engineering right now and trying to figure out what she could do with her device.
Okay. This is the first time we've had that happen, but luckily there's two of us with mics. The way my life is going, if I was the one that happened to, I'd already be in nap time right now. I am breaking up my days through naps, you know? And you can't beat that. Yeah, that is really, really nice. Chris, do you have anybody like that haunts you a little bit?
Well, there was. Well, I'm currently quarantining with my lovely girlfriend, but there was a girl I met on Tinder. The girl that I was like screwing around with maybe for like a month or so, but then eventually she went crazy on me. But I wonder what she's doing right now and like who's she quarantining with. This is the girl that I believe Gail called Mr. Big, and she kind of had like a Xanax freak out in my apartment. And that's when I cut it off. But I wonder like what that girl's actually up to.
That is really, really interesting, because you are right. Sometimes it doesn't really even mean that you 100% want to be with her, but there's still a haunt, and the crazy girls can stay in your mind a little bit. There's no doubt about that whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Diremaker wrote to us, have we seen Nora's version of Patience? Yeah. That Nora Jones, she's figured something out in her life that if you just slow it down a little bit, people will like you. Maybe we'll do a whole show on people who have taken, like a Metallica song, really slowed it down, played it on a Casio, and then you're like, this is pretty fucking good.
Wow, they're good songwriters.
Yeah. You are completely right, though, Chris. There's always some chick, that you were like, man, if there would have been different circumstances. And to me, 100% of the time, it's a girl with an overbite. You know what I mean? Like, there's always like something quirky and nutty about her, you know what I mean? That maybe was too much to put in a basket and carry around, but in short bursts, it was amazing. Now people are working. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. I stepped on you.
Yeah, those types of girls are always the ones that are going to live in the back of your head, and you're always going to wonder like what would have been. It's a really strange feeling when, especially now in time of quarantine, like your mind goes back to those thoughts.
Yeah, of course. The quarantine does it. All right, we got our buddy John in Virginia wants to talk to us. John, what do you got, buddy?
Hey guys, happy quarantine.
Yeah. Happy quarantine to you. How are you spending your quarantine?
Well, I do the courier thing, so I go all over still. So I go to
so you're not quarantined at all?
Not really. I mean, only when I don't have any jobs. But I do watch.
All right, so who are you thinking about right now?
This is back in the 80s. My first real girlfriend, I was 24, she was 20. Her dad didn't like the age thing, so I still dated her. It was kind of one of my first flings in New Hampshire.
All right, let's stop it right there, John. 24 and 20 was a big deal to them?
Yes, sir. Yep, to him.
There's something weird about that dude. Because I don't think 24 and 20 is odd at all. Look,
No, but
you ought to call this bastard back right now and explain to him it's half plus 7. Half plus 7. All right? So at that, using that thing, you could have dated her if she was 17. She was 3 years past the half plus 7. No, half. Is it half plus 7, Chris?
We can only have one caller on at a time right now.
Oh, I had no idea that. Gail also just texted me, and her system has crashed. So the system is down. We're going to, check for survivors, but her system, according to the engineers, has crashed. Stay tuned. All right, so this girl, she's 24. I mean, you're 24, she's 20. You're a 24-year-old man, and you let this other man break you two up?
Well, he beat me up. He came to my apartment. She was hanging out with me. I was walking outside of the street, and I got knocked the fuck out. I still remember it. I mean, I was working at Domino's back home, blah, blah, blah. I came out with a black eye.
Did you call the cops?
No. I didn't want any part of that.
Let me tell you something. Any man who knocks somebody else out because they're dating his adult daughter has his own weird fucking sexual thing going on with her. Whether he acted on it or not, I don't know. But this is bullshit, dude.
Amen.
This is bullshit.
She was, yep. It was my first one. I was in love. I think she was too. Her name was Lisa, but I won't give her that last name, but I doubt she's listening. But she's probably 40. She's probably 45, 50 now, whatever. So,
yeah. You know what she's probably thinking during the quarantine? I wish John would have stood up and been a man and fucking fought for me, you know? I wished he would have manned the fuck up instead of letting my old crazy Vietnam vet dad knock his ass out and leave him on the ground like a bitch. John?
I tried.
Sad phone
I tried.
call. You didn't try, dude. You let yourself get knocked out. And look, anybody can get punched. But what did Rocky always say? It's how many times you get up. You know how many times you got up, John? Zip.
None.
Zero.
None.
Zilch. Sad story. Thanks for calling us, buddy. 844-ROCK-GOD. 844-ROCK-GOD. I'm going to go back to Chris Stanley now since I can only do this one phone call at a time. How depressing was that, Chris?
That was a sad state of affairs. That's a poor bastard right there.
I don't even know if I would call it an affair. You know what I mean? Almost a missed affair.
That was just a train wreck.
I mean,
That
who
guy.
fucking does this? Is it that? First of all, he's made up a lie. 24 and 20 shouldn't be dating. Of course they can. Any court in America would back that up.
Yeah.
And then two, he's so fucking weirdly jealous and unable to think that his daughter could make her own fucking mistakes that he goes over and knocks this Domino's guy out.
No, that's just totally bullshit.
And then the Pizza King just goes, okay, I guess we're breaking up. Your dad punched me.
I think that would make most people be like, oh, I'm going to be with her even more now. Oh, your dad doesn't like me? He just assaults me? Fuck that guy.
I guarantee you for her, it turned her on even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, she does. She must have loved that, but then he fucking leaves it. It's insane.
I wonder if Gail's thing got the corona. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
I wonder if that's what happened.
I hope not. I mean, I don't think the coronavirus causes a loud, static sound, as far as I know.
All right, here's Runt Bug. You've made me think. I don't think I'd want to be quarantined with any of my exes, though I miss them all in different ways and for different reasons. Some of them were mentally stimulating, some were physically stimulating, and some were neither. None were both. What are you writing, a poem, Runt? That seems a little too thought out.
Yeah, just give me an answer. How much time do you have on your end?
Stanley, you thinking about cookies at all?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I haven't been thinking sweet. I've just been thinking savory bread, but that is a direction I can see myself going.
Into cook. So you're not even doing this for like the experiment. You're doing it for your own taste right now.
Yeah,
Like, what am I hungry for?
exactly. It's selfish, but I'm doing a good job so far. I think
Yeah.
I'll be making some sesame rolls later. I'll send a pic.
I love a good sesame roll. Now, are you making sandwiches of these or just eating straight bread?
Both. I'll maybe like cut off an end and then eat that, and then turn the rest of the baguette into a tasty turkey sandwich.
You're unbelievable. All right, Dan from Philly wrote this. There are two women I've been thinking of. One went to school, and we caught up several years later, and boom, she was gone. And I wish I told her. Now, this is uncomfortable. He goes, the other is a younger woman in my neighborhood.
We have Gail on the line, Ron.
Okay, great.
Hey guys.
What the hell happened? You scared the hell out of America.
My system just crashed completely. I called over to Old Beanock, and they're like, unplug it. And I did, and that's all we've got going for us right now. So we don't have an answer.
Oh, I better. No, I think that's the answer. You ever notice that most things, from a technical point of view, if you just turn them off and then turn them back on, that's the way to fix them?
Yeah, I think every time I've ever called them for a circumstance involving something, they're like, have you tried to unplug it and turn it back on? And I'm like, oh, okay. So sometimes that works, and when it doesn't work, it's broken.
Now, Gail, we were talking about this, and some folks have checked in with us. Do you ever find yourselves thinking about exes during this quarantine? Who was that person with? What are they up to? It doesn't even necessarily mean that you wish you were together, but I guess there's a very small part of all of us that is just curious what went down. You missed out on this, John. So he's 24. He's dating a girl who's 20, and the dad doesn't like it and knocks him out and takes the girl back home.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then John just let it happen that way. He decided, well, I got snuck, I got punched, so it's over. It's done. Chris, there was a young baker in France when he was going to school. He was living on the Seine at the time, walk-up apartment. But it was a 17-floor walk-up. It was really difficult for him, but kept him in pretty good core shape. But is that just something that men do, or do women do that as well?
Well, I think more than anything, the more single you are, you probably would be thinking about exes and people that you are with in your life. But I will say I have thought about certain exes and just thinking, where are they? How are they handling this? What are they up to? I think anyone that you had any intimacy with in your life, if you shared a space with that person, if you were once in love with that person, you are going to think about them in a weird situation like this. I think that's probably pretty normal.
And it's also pretty normal that you don't bring it up because you're with somebody now. You know what I mean? Like, this is the weird kind of secret that each person, it's a healthier secret than,
Yes.
saying it, particularly as many times as it could pop into your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because saying it out loud just seems just grotesque. You're like, why would you bring that up to someone who you're currently with? But yes, I would assume that most people do it, and I would assume my husband does it as well. I would assume.
Oh, I know he does, because I saw him I saw him writing a girl's name down on the front of his notebook over and over. Dyer wrote into this because I was trying to figure out the half plus 7, right? And it's half of the man's age or half of the older person's age plus
Right.
7. All right.
Exactly.
So John was 24. Half of that is 12, 19 for a 24-year-old girl. So she was comfortably in
Yeah.
the age range. I also said this for a dad to like that. I feel to be like that. I feel like he had some kind of uncomfortable issues going on himself.
I agree. And I think, honestly, when you're talking about scooping up a 20-year-old and taking her away from her boyfriend's house, that sounds like kidnapping to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird that he would behave this way. Also, the age difference is nothing. I mean, 4 years and you're both in your 20s, that's nothing.
Wow, that's insane, right? That's fucking
Yeah.
insane that this guy would do that.
Yeah.
Gail, you got a kind of momentous thing going on now too, with Juju's age.
Yeah, today she is 20 months old. She's
20
20 months
months.
old today.
Wow,
Yeah, she's in her 20s.
that's exciting. That's really
Yeah.
really exciting. The weird thing is, we've been talking about her not only every day that she's been alive, but almost the entire 9 months before she was alive.
Yeah,
You know what I
she's
mean?
the
Like-
main subject all the time.
Yeah. So for almost 3 years, we've been talking about her every goddamn day. Is she anything like what you thought, like when you were pregnant? You're like, oh, I wonder what my kid's going to be like. Is she anything like that at all, or is she different?
No, she's such a different energy and spirit, I think, than I ever could have imagined when I was pregnant. I mean, we used to kind of go, oh my gosh, she seems active, I guess. That would probably be my biggest, the closest I have the indicator of her personality, because she never stopped moving when I was pregnant with her. But as far as just like who she is and the spirit she has, I think I've probably known it since day one when I met her. But I don't think I would have assumed who she was, because she's so different than me and so different than my husband.
That is the weird thing. They're born with their little personality. You know what I mean? They're just born that way. You know, all the time people are always like, what kind of kid am I going to have? Is he going to be a baseball player? Is he going to be this or that? And you just have, it's not up to that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You
No,
can't be like, I'm going
it's
to make
really
sure
not.
my kid wants to join the army. You don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
No.
maybe he'll be a very tender, sweet boy who bakes bread. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Chris didn't turn out like the way that I dreamed my producers will be, but he's the way Chris should be.
I always I think about my little cousin, and just like too, because here's the thing. Not only that, they go through so many changes within their childhood even. So like I think you maintain the same spirit or the same energy, and you see what kind of motivates that person. But if you start guessing who that person is going to be, I think about Steffi when she was a baby and how different she is, and like the person she is from that kid too. Like, you have to let kids evolve.
Here's Tony in Stony Brook. Tony, what do you got for us today?
Guys, I just wanted to say I'm so saddened by the whole thing, especially for young children that are just learning how to read and write and do math. My wife's a teacher, and she just began her second week at doing her classes online with the kids, and it's so frustrating for her as a teacher and the kids to learn this way. I feel so terrible for these little kids. It's I think without a doubt, this school year is a wash, right? They're not going to go back to school this year.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, I think the weird thing, Tony, is at the end of the day, are we going to see that the entire school systems have changed? Like, I do think there'll be school, but I wonder if there's going to be school every day, like physically going to school. But you said from her point of view, the kids don't learn as well online.
No, not at all. It's so frustrating for these. My wife teaches 5 and 6-year-olds, so everything is pretty new to them to begin with, and to finish off the last 3 months of their school year this way, I feel so bad for these kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. There was a thing the other day, too, about they were saying the senior year kids, that they're not getting prom, they're not getting all these, things, I guess. And I'm like, isn't it weird how much, and thanks for calling us, Tony. I thought to myself, isn't it weird how much pressure we put on the senior year being great, Gail?
Yeah, I think, it's weird. It's so much a part of American culture. You know what I mean? Like, you can see that, we put the pressure on that, but even from movies and TV, it's like there's like this pressure that this is like this really big time in your life. And I would be interested if even like how many other countries even have anything similar, because to me it's such an American experience of like your prom, your graduation, your senior week, or whatever, all this shit that people do, your senior pranks. Like to me it's just so American.
How about those nerd kids who are like, am I going to end my high school year a virgin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you take that pressure off yourself, you little weirdo? If you haven't done it by now, what's it matter?
Totally.
Whether you wait
Honestly,
until you're...
Yeah. Why don't you put that pressure on, like, your sophomore year? You know what I mean? I feel like you have enough issues going on senior year.
Mine was freshman year. I'm like, what is going on here? What is wrong with me? I got to get this one off the books. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Yeah, there's no doubt that this is a weird time that everybody ends up thinking about everything. Esty writes this to us. Esty Steve, do ex-wives count? I'll give Chris her number and watch him work his stand man magic. Yeah, of course ex-wives count. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's no doubt that ex-wives count for this. Anything counts as long as it's taking up a little real estate in your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the guy who says he just sees someone around the neighborhood that haunts him.
Yeah, that was a little crazy.
But it happens, you know what I mean? Like, we say these things like, oh, we believe in love at first sight. It's one of the most romantic ideas that we have. And then when you act on it, people are like, what are you, a fucking lunatic?
Oh, yeah.
And yet,
absolutely,
we never have a rom-com where you're like, why did you approach that guy that girl in the bar? What are you, sick? What are you, a nut?
Yesterday we were talking about Some Kind of Wonderful, and it's like a major aspect of the plot is that he seems to just follow her around from her classes to her practices to like watching her at her locker. And it's like we like that in a movie, but then if you start to look at the reality of that, you're like, ooh, boy.
And also when you think about that, what did he like about her? But she was gorgeous. That's the only thing that he really had to go on. There was nothing else. He didn't even really know her other than in passing,
Right. Well, and that's another weird thing is like there's this idea that it's like it's okay to fall in love with someone because of their looks, but it's not okay for girls not to like guys because of their looks. It's a weird double standard there.
Well, it's also a weird standard that you can be attracted to somebody. We just talked about this. Rick Ocasek from the Cars passed away, right? And he was dating and then married a model. And everybody was like, well, he's not what we consider attractive. And she's very much what we consider attractive. Why would she care about him? I don't know. Maybe because his first album sounded like a fucking greatest hits. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't she be attracted to the guy who can write and produce those songs, you fucking idiots? I would have went out with him myself. That album was so good.
Right.
It's the Bennington Show. We are here on a Tuesday. The beauty of the system that we are, I'm in Manhattan, Gail's in Brooklyn, but every single day, we're going to have to deal with some little technical thing because this isn't a studio. It wasn't set up to be a studio. I had to find out that I need to keep my window closed because I got spring birds everywhere outside. And they've got the run of the city now, They're going everywhere. Charles wrote this about who's got a little real estate in his mind. He says, my boys, my mother picked them up right before the quarantine to take them to Western France. Oh, Western France, that might not even be the best idea. But, yeah, those kind of things happen as well. It's driving me crazy. I'd love to check on my mom is what I would be, doing if this thing hadn't happened. And now there's like a real reason to check on her. But if I show up and do that, it's stranger danger, basically.
I know someone who she's divorced from her husband, and just before all this happened, the girls went, because they live far apart, and the girls went to stay with their dad. So for her as a mom, the safest thing is for her girls to stay where they are. But now she's riding this out without her daughters, and it's like driving her insane.
Yeah. Isn't it weird, too, that whatever you're doing, you do it for the best purposes, and then you're like, why did I even do that,
Yeah.
Everybody's second-guessing everything all the time, no doubt about it. Now, Earl is saying to us that he's been... Get a hold of Earl for me, would you? Because he's saying that he's really quarantining. But what about all these crazy pictures that he's been sending us?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really part of quarantining or social distancing. It seems like he's doing quite a bit of travel. He's doing a walkabout.
But he's saying just the opposite now. He's saying that he did do it. I guess he's just leaking these pictures out one at a time.
Right.
Chris Stanley tells us, Gail, that he has some big sports news.
Oh.
Chris, you had a breaking news story in sports?
Yes, Mr. Cam Newton is no longer a Carolina Panther. He is out.
That's hard to believe. He
Gone,
was an MVP
done.
of the league just, 4 or 5 years ago was the MVP. He was the face of that franchise. And, everything that they liked about him is why he started to fall apart because he would run too much. Same thing's going to happen in Baltimore. You know what I mean? If you run, you're not going to last in this league. But do you think Cam still has a little gas left in the tank, Chris?
I think he definitely has gas left in the tank, and I think he would be a prime target for the New England Patriots to scoop him up for a season, a 1-year contract, see what he has left. Because their defense is set. They have a great second-year running back coming into the season. They should definitely look at Cam Newton. I think he would be a good fit. I think Belichick could work. I bet Belichick would love to have.
Yeah, but we really don't know what kind of physical shape that he's in. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing worse than picking up a guy and having him last 2 or 3 fucking games and then he's gone. I'm gonna go in the opposite way. Are you ready to this? And lock it in. This is another one of those Bennington locks. Cam Newton, by the end of this week, will be picked up by. Are you ready for this, Chris? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's face it. Brady is 43 years old. He doesn't seem like he's ready to take this team to the next place. You need a younger, stronger guy to come in and pick that team up. And they've got great receivers. The defense is there. Cam Newton taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all the way to the Super Bowl.
I love this. I love this call. I love this lock, Ron. It makes my pick seem like I'm a fucking moron. Like, why would I even have said the New England Patriots when the Bucs are in need of a backup?
No, not a backup, a starter. They release Brady completely. What? He's done. He's old. He's 43 years old.
I mean,
I don't like the idea of a backup. A backup puts the entire team in flux, and you don't want to do that. All right, Gail, I want you to grab a girl dart, throw it at the wall, and tell me what team that Cam Newton lands on.
I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
I think, yeah. I feel like they need a quarterback, no?
Yes, they do need a quarterback, and guess who's going to go there? Tom Brady. Let's face it, he's perfect. He's a South Beach kind of guy. You know what I mean? That's his thing. Maybe his wife would even stop down a couple of days a week, so she can get her tight little ass out on the beach. Tom Brady is going to Miami. Cam Newton obviously signs with Tampa Bay after they release Brady. And so you're thinking to yourself, who is going to quarterback the New England Patriots? Play this game. Who's the smartest mind in professional football right now? That's the guy you want running that offense. A guy who's designed that offense. Yep, it's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick will quarterback the New England Patriots this year. Lock it up. I'll also say this. This is going to be the best year of fantasy football ever.
It's all fantasy.
Yeah, it's all fantasy. I've been working on a thing that I'm calling sexual fantasy football. And it's kind of cosplay, it's kind of fan fiction, but it's fantasy football. But you turn around and my sister said when I sent her the picture of Juju that she's 20 months old, my sister said, "Do you mean 3 years old?" So cute.
That's true.
All right, we've got the man that you call the Wanderer, Earl Douglas, on the phone today. Earl twice went to our conversation thread, started something, and then disappeared for 20 minutes. So I'm like, why do you do this? Why do you bring something up and then go? He goes, well, I had to go to the store. Okay. If you've got to go to the store, why would you start a conversation? This is madness, Gail. Madness, really I tell you. If the coronavirus was a mental disease, Earl Douglas would have it. He's considered the photographer of the apocalypse, and we have him online right now. Let's head on over to Earl the Pearl Douglas.
Earl.
Buddies.
Yeah. Why did you say, oh, yeah, we thought you went to the store. Yes, of course we can hear you. You work in radio. You understand how these things work. Earl, are you still out taking pictures or have you stopped?
I have not shot since Sunday night.
What happened with you?
I just had a home situation that needed to be taken care of.
What was the home situation? You let little kids come in and breathe on your mom?
No. My mother had a couple of medical episodes, and so we were just kind of keep an eye out for her.
Gail, do you ever notice about this? Earl he keeps things close to the vest. You know what I mean?
He does. Like, at this point, I'm wondering, like, are you afraid to tell us what happened? Is it a certain symptom? It's just very vague.
I mean, to me, if you're going to be vague, it's got to be pussy related. That's the only way to stay vague when it comes to medical stuff.
No, not at all. I mean, she's a diabetic, and she had a couple of situations where she almost went to shock, and it kind of
freaked everybody out, but we had to take care of it, and it's taken care of.
How do you take care of it, Earl?
It was just getting her blood sugar levels back up, and in one case it went soaring to the point we almost had to send her to the hospital.
Is that because you gave her a Cinnabon?
No. We did find out she was indulging a little too much on ice cream, and
first of all, can I just say something? Well, look, the fact that you're saying indulging a little too much, and then ice cream should be off the fucking table. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
like me. It's like, but who's buying ice cream and bringing it into that home?
Even though it was in the house, it was in the It was in the freezer for forever.
Yes.
And
But all right. Let's play this game, Earl. I'm an alcoholic. Guess how much alcohol I have in my house?
None.
Yes. You know why? Because I don't want to indulge a little too much in alcohol.
Yeah.
You don't
But
have it.
What if it was in the freezer?
Oh, yeah. The freezer's fine because I would never think of frozen wine. Yeah. All right. Good point. Put things in the freezer. What did she have to do? Reach over the Reese's cups to get to the fucking ice cream? There should be zero sugar in the house.
I understand that, and I thought it was gone. It was not, and like I said, just a matter of getting out of the house.
But she can't be trusted. She knows she has health issues, and then she indulges in a little too much ice cream.
Yeah, I like that. My mother's stubborn. My mother's very stubborn. And she hasn't really fully grasped what her medical condition is and what she can and cannot eat anymore.
Yeah, but now everybody else has to run around concerned about this, and you also have to worry about taking her to a hospital during an epidemic because A,
100%.
is there going to be room? Is there going to be room? And B, is she going to catch the corona while she's there?
Yeah.
100%. Correct.
And she's a woman of a certain age, and she's diabetic. There's a lot of factors that, you guys got to be extra careful with her right now.
Wait, I didn't know that she's a woman of a certain age. Here's the thing, Earl. I could probably get her on a Showtime stand-up special. What's her material like right now? Like, all right, I'm already writing the thing. You know I love my ice cream, don't you? I just love my ice cream.
Woo!
So, yeah,
I like it in a cup. I like it in a cone. One thing about ice cream, I can't leave it alone. Now, where my big diabetics at? First of all, stretch pants need a new name. I'm gonna call them give ups.
I know that's right.
Now, Earl, why? What else do you have in that house? Is there licorice whips in there? What the fuck is going on?
No, we flushed it out, flushed everything out of anything that is all junk food. Like I haven't had junk food since Lent, and just Lent started. So
Yeah.
So I went through everything. It's now basically, it's kale. It's
He's such a liar, isn't he? This is what happens when they send a person to the house to check up to see if the baby's being taken up. What do those people call? Vito, I'm sure you had to put up with it when you were a kid.
Child services?
Yes. This is elderly services coming in, and Earl's sitting there talking about kale because he read it once in a fucking article. Kale has never touched Earl's mouth. I saw him look at a Brussels sprout one time like it was an alien.
He's keeping ice cream the one place it can survive.
I know. That's a good point. If that thing was in the bread box, your mom would be fine right now, unless she grabbed a straw and started drinking it.
Yeah, so I gave the kitchen a nice. We went through everything. She's fine now, but it's like,
I don't even know. First of all, this whole story sounds like a lie to me.
Was it leftover ice cream from Thanksgiving?
Earl, why are we pulling teeth with you?
Not pulling teeth. I'm just like it was a very weird couple of days, and I'm just still kind of sorting through it all. And I'm like, and just as an aside, I really got to thank you guys because the support that you guys are giving for the photos has gone through the roof. It really has.
For your photography?
Yeah, for the photo, like my Instagram followers have gone through the roof. People are asking me about it. A couple of friends of mine reached out. They wanted to send it around to people. I was like, yeah, feel free to share them with people. And it's been the outpouring of support has been outstanding, and I want to thank you guys.
Well, I can see that in the energy that you've brought to this conversation. I can hear how pumped up you are about it.
Here's the thing, Earl. Like, you obviously it's been successful, but now you're thinking about your mom's health. Now, do you completely call it quits? Is everybody on lockdown? No more visitors? No going out of the house, kind of thing?
I haven't. The only runs I've made have been to the store. That's about it. And that's it.
Earl,
if I needed something, if you need something,
Earl,
you need something.
Okay, Earl, 2 nights ago, I got pictures of you that said 34th Street. I'm looking at my text, 34th Street 2 minutes ago. And it was right at dusk. It was an empty 34th Street. Now, Gail, let's go over this, okay? Like we were detectives. Now, was Earl there, or did he lie about being there and he took that picture days before?
I went to Target because it was the only thing open. This is the supermarket, which is 5 minutes from here, closed early. And I need to go to. I went to Target. I jumped on the LIR. It was 20 minutes in. Jumped on the LIR. It was 20 minutes back.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I'm just going to add this as an aside about stores. Yes, people can go to stores. Grocery stores have to stay open. It's necessary for life. But the idea was you hunker down and you have enough food, and you probably in this last 2 weeks should go once as opposed to multiple trips out.
Yes, but again, there's things that you needed. I needed more. I
Ice
needed
cream?
Ice cream.
Like Haagen-Dazs. Earl, make sure you look for some of that Haagen-Dazs. I love my German ice creams. Earl, you also wrote something to me, and I don't know whether this is true or not. Earl wrote, the black conspiracy paranoid dudes are out in full force. What does that even mean?
Yeah, like when I went to the supermarket here, and you're waiting online, and you just hear the chatter, and because you're just killing time because the lines are long, and you're just hearing everything from, this is everything from, this is biological weapon gone bad. This is, the vaccine is going to put microchips in your body. The whole thing, the lockdown is a prelude to martial law. Just all this crazy stuff.
Dude, we couldn't even do martial law in Afghanistan. Do you know how big and wild the United States of America is? I don't know why we support the troops. Every single day you have to hear support the troops. And then when they were talking about, having the army come in to the hospitals and do stuff, people started to get upset. Do we support the troops, or are we completely paranoid about the troops?
Right. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about people who are, gun rights are first and foremost on their mind, is the first thing they needed is, I need it in case the military busts in.
Right. The same guys that you support 100%?
Right.
That's what I don't get at all. Earl, you seem to be a little dragging today. Like you're really, really running a little low, a little slow. And your stories and I don't want to bust balls with you. You know what I mean? But your stories have nothing but holes in them. Chris Stanley is writing to me begging to jump into this conversation.
Nothing
Vito,
but holes in them. Nothing but
Chris.
holes in them. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know how else to explain it than just to explain it. I'm not explaining it well. I'm sorry, but this is my life right now.
Earl, you can explain it by telling the truth and not just lying
I
to
am
us.
telling the truth. No, you think I'm gonna fuck around with my mother's health about and lie about
Yes,
it?
if you have ice.
Nuts?
Can I tell you something? If you have ice cream in the house, you're fucking around with your mother's health.
What do you think? I freaking lost my mind when that happened.
Yes, because it shouldn't happen.
No, I know it shouldn't happen, but I wasn't aware of it until it happened.
Earl, why didn't you look into the goddamn fridge when all this went down with the diabetes, and so that there's no fucking ice cream in the fridge? How big is your fridge? We've seen it. It's not that large.
I wasn't even aware it was even in the fridge. I'm not going to scream. My father went out because he was thinking of himself. Went out and bought ice cream for himself.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, now we straighten that out, Earl. This wasn't some lost, forgotten ice cream in the fridge. Your dad went out and bought himself some ice cream. No, you said we didn't know it was in there. You're going to have a talk with your dad and saying you got to stop bringing in the briars. You don't think that he's trying to kill your mom, do you?
No. You think that conversation didn't happen?
Yes, I think that conversation didn't happen.
I want to bring up something else, that Earl had to get on a train to go to the Target as opposed to just walking to a store in his neighborhood. Why would you jump back on the train?
No, you know what,
It
Earl?
was not open.
Earl, I'm going to jump in now because that pisses me off. Earl, you have all day to do
because
stuff.
it wasn't open.
Earl, you have all day to do stuff. You're the only person that isn't working right now. You can go during the day.
I understand that, but I'm looking after my mother, but that's
Not very well. You're letting your dad bring ice cream in. Also, he didn't take the train. He took the car, right, Earl?
No, I took the Long Island Railroad in because it's 20 minutes in and it's 20 minutes back.
Yeah. But it's also, filled with corona disease.
There's no one on it, but I took precautions.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter that there's no one on it. We've learned that every single Douglas person is crazy. They're all crazy.
His dad just took some M&M peanuts and to his mom while this conversation was taking place. Just a little patience. Gail, your system crashed again?
Earlier, my system. I'm on my phone.
Oh, I didn't know that you were on the phone the whole time.
Yeah, I've just been on the phone. My system is completely crashed. They are gonna get back to me.
Oh, okay. I thought that you
yeah.
unplugged it and plugged it back in.
Oh no, we tried that. When that didn't work, they're like, "Oh, that's all we got." So if that didn't work, we'll have to get back to you. So I might have to get another system sent to me.
Gail,
Jesus, I had no idea.
Gail, during break, there's a new number for you to call, and they think they might be able to figure it out.
Okay, cool. I will do that.
All right, why don't we break right now, Earl? You got caught up in some lies. It's okay. This quarantine has everybody lying right now. You know what I mean? Now he sounds way underwater. All right, why don't we take that break, and we'll be back. It's the Bennington Show.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show.
Bennington Show.
Bennington is back, and so am I. I've rebooted my system, and I'm good to go.
You sound great, Gail.
Cool.
Maybe pick your levels up a tiny bit.
Check, check, check. How do we sound now?
Gail, you sound better than ever to me.
Good, I'm glad.
All right, this is like being in Star Trek, you know what I mean, where you need Scotty just to get our power back up. He's screaming for a couple of minutes, but it all works out. And then, you know, sometimes like people be complaining. I'm like, what? Complain? This feels like the future to me. If you would have told me years ago you'll be able to broadcast, you know, out of your living room, I'm like, you're insane. You're crazy.
I mean, I'm literally doing the show from my bed right now.
I wish I would have done a better job of soundproofing my home. You know what I mean? I literally, you know, I want to know this. With all this Corona stuff, why is there still workmen? Why are there still people working on my lobby right now to put a whole new backdrop behind the mirrors?
Oh, my God. My friend told me this horrible story that her landlord in her building decided that this was a great time to do like the treatments for like all the floors in the lobby of their building, and everybody comes out of their apartment freaking out, choking on like chemical, like all the chemicals like shooting up through the building. And he's like, oh, I thought this was a good time to do it. No, literally everyone's home.
My super yesterday was in a screaming match in the lobby with one of the people who live here, and everybody was coming out of their apartments and looking down, and a lady across from me, she's like an English lady, she goes, are you going down? I go, going down? I'm waiting to hear fucking shots. You know what I mean? Like, this was a crazy, out of control fight, and I think the dude that he was fighting with is on edge because his wife is about to give birth and he's not allowed to go to the hospital with her. She can't take anybody into the hospital. So he's already on edge. And then, you know, I guess he didn't get a package or whatever the fuck is going on. I don't know what started it. But it had this really great thing of people were coming out in their robes and trying to look down the stairwell to see what the hell was going on. Perfect. It was hilarious. Yeah. It was a movie scene.
My landlord lives below me, and the other night I get a knock on my door. I open it up, and she's standing there, and she's looking very concerned. She has a little bit of broken English, so she says to me, after 11:40, don't go outside. You can't go outside. Here, read this. And she shows me her phone, which is not linked to an article. It's just looks like her friend texted her and said, don't leave the house after 11:40 tonight. At midnight, the helicopters will be going all around the city and spraying it down with disinfectant to kill the coronavirus. Everyone must stay inside with their windows. I'm like, what the hell is this? I just go like this. Yes, great tip. Thank you. We definitely, definitely will. What would this spray be?
I'm, first of all, magic spray, which I love. I mean, this whole thing, it sounds like to me helicopters spray and disinfect it. I'm all for it. But I would have had to guess that ABC News would have picked up on this.
Sure.
And ran it as a big story.
This would have been national news that New York City is just going to start spraying Purell from helicopters all around the city. The other idea I thought is maybe it's just the vaccine. We're just going to spray the vaccine across the city. Everyone actually go outside. Open your mouth. This is how we're going to administer it.
You know, you know what I forgot? I got to check in with my assistant. I'm missing my 3 o'clock coffee every day. You know what I mean? I'm getting out of that thing that I had. I feel like that's something that Earl could easily do. Still run out and deliver me coffee. You know, while he's getting ice cream for his mom.
Yeah, I mean, he's having plenty of errands. And you're right. It does kind of sound like there was a store trip and then this happened. It seems like he's the one who got the ice cream. I think actually the dad story is made up. It was him. It's his ice cream.
The dad, first of all, he didn't even start with the dad story. It was ice cream in the back of the freezer that we didn't know about. And then his mom went, got it, and started eating it. And then when we were picking at the story, his dad brought home ice cream.
Right. I'm dying for ice cream now, though.
I know, me too. I'd like to have some of, and I'm trying to start a new brand. I didn't even tell you about this. It's the brand's called Earl's Mom's Ice Cream, and it's just kind of real down home North Carolina ice cream with her picture on the front of it. But if you thought that you had that kind of diabetes, not the regular, fat boy 38 years old pre-diabetes, but the real diabetic stuff where you're taking medication, you would know a spoonful of ice cream would be too much ice cream.
Yeah, any and all. I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure even most fruits are off the table. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty serious if ice cream is going to set you off into almost going into shock.
And then when he always says she almost went to the hospital, but I was thinking about this with the way the hospitals are right now, and we are in New York City, and apparently they are filled to the brim with corona patients. What happens if your knee blows out right now? You know what I mean? What happens if you get an ACL tear and you think to yourself, I need this taken care of? The hospital isn't going to take you for that. They're going to say, stay home and suffer until this thing is over. Think of how many things that you would go to the hospital for. Like if I cut my hand right now, would I go to the hospital and get stitches or just wrap it up? What's safer?
I actually was thinking that the other night specifically about a cut. I was like, if I had a non-life-threatening cut right now, I think I'd be going on YouTube to try to figure out how to sew it up myself before I would go to the hospital.
Now, the stuff that we were talking about, too, with Earl's, vast conspiracy stuff that he was saying, I'm hearing that most places. And quite frankly, I don't even know what even regular news is worth to me. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff changes on such a day-to-day basis that I find myself paying less and less attention. And I see, the president is saying, well, the cure can't be worse than the... I'm like, I didn't even really believe this until you did. You know what I mean? Like, when the president was like, yeah, we're shutting things down, is the first time that I thought, oh, this is not just, people crying about this. This is a real thing. And what are we, 4 or 5 days after when he decides, hey, this seems crazy?
And the funny thing was, I remember last week he was questioned by a reporter. Hey, considering you weren't taking this seriously before, and now, thankfully, you are taking this seriously. He was going, no. This was always my message. This was always my message. And now here we are a couple days later, and he's back to the original guy. He's back to on the real Trump brand.
I would like to get some clarity with it, but I guess they have no idea where this is going. All right, Dave, our buddy Dave in Santa Cruz, thinks he knows what is going to happen for people who blow out a knee or cut their hands. Dave, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, if you do mess up your arm or something, crack something, bust your head, hopefully those hospital ships are going to be in port for the healthy people. So they're going to take all the people that do have the virus to the hospitals that are in the city. And then they're going to designate those ships for people that do stuff like that, get in a car accident or like a broken knee, you could hang with that. Not a broken knee, but a hurt knee, you could handle that. But if you get hurt, if you get really hurt, then they'll take you to the hospital ships. That's what those are going to be for.
Well, here's the thing. you live in a port town. We live in a port town. Most places are not going to be getting hospital ships. You know what I mean? There's not going to be a hospital ship pulling into Memphis. There's not going to be a hospital ship in Pittsburgh. There's only going to be a couple of hospital ships. So, and also a hospital ship, where are their doctors coming from? Where are their nurses? You know what I'm saying? A hospital would take a little while to set up, but thank you for the thought, Dave.
Also, that would mean that you would have to test some. Okay, so let's say somebody gets into a car accident, then you would have to test them to be sure that they would go to the hospital ship as opposed to the regular hospital. You know what I mean? You would have to be doing that in real time while you were dealing with an emergency to decide where this person's going. If somebody's in an emergency, they're just going to, I feel, would just take them to the nearest hospital.
Look, if you get in a car accident now, you're really an idiot because there's nobody out there. If you get into a car accident now, you hit a tree.
It's true.
844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. I don't know if it was just for me, Vito, but Dave seemed very, very low on that phone call.
I think that might have been his phone, but I'll keep callers extra high.
He was low for me too, but I haven't had that yet with other callers.
Now, Gail, what did we have to do to reboot your device?
It was something to do with the pins in the power cord. I had to redo everything, take the battery out, make sure the pins were set up correctly, and then not put the battery back in and just go on the regular supply.
I don't even understand that.
Yeah.
I don't even understand how any of this works right now. I didn't know we had a battery.
Well, I have a different system than you.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I have one of the old ones. You have one of the new fancy ones.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, so you had one of the ones that existed, and then I got one of the ones that they just bought off of Amazon or something. I don't even think mine went through SiriusXM. I think it came straight from the factory to my house.
I think it did, yeah.
Sam wrote this on Twitter, Gail. Gail, I watched Blow the Man Down last night and really enjoyed it. Excellent, cold, and darkly comedic Maine noir. I didn't even know Maine noir was a thing. The two female protagonists were excellent. Keep the wonderful quarantine movie recs coming, buddies. They've always been phenomenal. So Blow the Man Down is exactly what, Gail?
So that is, it's a new film. It's on Amazon Prime. It is a noir. It's kind of a bit of a black comedy, but it's got, it takes place in a small town in Maine. And it's, to me, feels very nice, small, independent. The kind of movies that we always talk about that we loved in the 90s. To me, it has, those sensibilities to it.
Blow the Man Down.
And
no stars, Gail? There's no stars?
There's, like maybe a familiar face or two, but certainly no stars. Like the two female leads. I recognize one of the older women, but I couldn't place her. But the two female leads are not known. And I believe it is also written and directed by two women.
All right, let's go, girls. You know what I'm saying, Gail?
Yeah. 2020 is our year.
Yeah, 2020 is your year. You've got this. Yeah.
Shit.
It's a rough year to get, but it's yours. Now, I started on a new TV show. I think there's only 2 episodes out now, and it's called Dave. Dave, have you guys seen this yet?
No.
Dave on FX?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched Dave.
Now, Dave is like a little, like a white guy version of Atlanta, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's definitely some similarities. Like especially, I like Dave a lot. I think the biggest similarity between the two is that character Gata is super similar to Lakeith Stanfield's character in Atlanta. That's, I think, my biggest issue with the two shows. But it's by the 4th episode, it kind of starts to go more in its own way.
Wait, what do you mean the fourth episode? I'm only seeing 2.
There's been 4 episodes so far.
All right, I got to play some catch-up ball. Now, here's the thing. I got the only 2 that were on demand, so I go over to Hulu to see if there's more, Gail. They want me to pay $2.95 an episode. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no thanks. No.
It's a brand
not in
new
this
show.
Economy.
Yeah.
Dave
I don't
is
know where the whole damn economy is going.
Dave's from Philly, like you guys.
So what?
I
you think
thought-
that's a
I
reason
thought you
to
might
like
like that.
something? Seriously.
I'm also not from
To me-
Philly.
Yeah.
Good point.
And me neither. I'm fucking Codell all the way. Codell South All-Stars. Now, here's the deal. All the way around. It's exactly like Atlanta, but they put a nice Jewish rapper in there, Gail, to be confused by the rappers. And this guy, he's a stand-up comic, I guess, and this is his show. And this might help you, Gail. I think that he's acting like the Jewish Owen Wilson.
Oh, wow.
But it's Jewish, so it's way more annoying. But it's a very funny show. Would you say this? It's Atlanta if Atlanta had a funny lead.
I think Atlanta has a funny lead.
Who?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover brings as much energy as that show as Earl brought to his phone call.
But yeah, no,
This is Earl for me right now. Hey man, oh thank you guys. I'm getting a lot of people on my Instagram now.
That was crazy.
Matter of fact, 2 friends of mine even said to me, "Can I send it around to people?" I said, "Go ahead." What are you fucking talking about?
All right.
Have a little energy.
I have more energy talking about Dave than Earl had talking about his photos.
You did.
Dude,
You really did.
I'm so proud of you to see you turn on Atlanta. Because I thought that you would watch this show and be like, this is a fucking Atlanta ripoff. It's, Atlanta with comedy. And yet you like Dave probably even more than Atlanta right now.
I don't like Dave more than Atlanta, but I've been Little Dicky the rap. He's actually like he's a rapper. He's not a stand-up comic. I've been a really big fan of his for a long time. So like I really like Little Dicky and what he's done.
All right, hold down. Let me reach across the generations here. So Little Dicky was already on YouTube.
Yes.
And he was already a YouTube success. And they just did this show?
Yeah, they just did it now. He's been around for a while. Like he's had songs with he had a song with Chris Brown, some big rappers named like Fetty Wap. So he's been around for a long time, and this show's like kind of like one of those like partially based on his life shows.
Well, he's got a lot of talent. I mean, he's not just some YouTube asshole then, you know what I mean? Because you couldn't take a normal YouTube star, put him in a weird sitcom like this and have it work. But he's oddly believable. It's a really good show.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 4 thumbs up and 2 apples.
He's really good, and
nice.
I like Andrew Santino a lot.
Who is that, the redhead guy?
The redheaded guy, yeah, that's the guy that was on I'm Dying Up Here.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's basically the guy from I'm Dying Up Here who's just moved right over into that. He's got the same personality. But he's very watchable. He's a good stand-up, too. He was out at the L.A. studios when we were there, Gail. I forget what he was doing.
Now, so are you guys recommending? Should I check out Dave?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
But not at the $2.95. Wait until you catch up,
Okay.
in reruns.
Of course.
$2.95 an episode? It's a fucking 22-minute episode.
Ron, it's
For $3.99, I can get a movie.
if you go on your Spectrum on demand, it should be up to date.
That's where I went, my Spectrum on demand, and they only gave me 2.
Oh.
And then I got to wait for next week to catch up.
That's wild. I've been watching it on Spectrum on demand.
Yeah, sometimes they take some of the on-demands back out. As a matter of fact, I was noticing this when I was locking in. It looks like I don't know when I'm going to get an episode 3. I'm going to go straight 4 to 5.
Oh no, I hate when they do that shit. That they did that to me with Curb this year. I didn't get to see the surprise party episode until like 4 weeks later.
Yeah, and then that kind of blew it for you. You know what I mean? Because that was everything. That tied the whole season together.
Yeah.
Curb is actually down. It's finished now, Gail, for the year. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, was there a reason to do this season? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. He's got so many sides. Like, he brought Vince Vaughn in this year to be a Funkhauser, and he really didn't have much to do with anything in the season at all. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't seen Vince in a while. Let's use him.
Yeah, even when I'm enjoying it, I'm just kind of, it's funny to me that that show is just, it stays at that same consistent level where you're like, it's just business as usual no matter what's going on in the world.
Well, here's something. He had Perel on all the tables before this happened, which is interesting, right? Like when you really think about it, he thought every restaurant table, coffee house table should have a thing of Perel sitting there. That may be the future for all we know. And then the other thing is like all the one percenters of the entertainment world are opening up spite stores, and they're just being mean to people and trying to put them out of business because they felt slighted once. You know? And they don't care if they lose money as long as the other person loses their livelihood. It's completely cruel.
Curb doesn't do any work to introduce, like, they bring new characters in and they don't explain if they've been on the show before or not and act like it's just you should know this person. Like, I had never seen Chaz Bono before this episode on the show, and they made it seem like, yeah, you should be very familiar that this is a Funkhauser.
I think he did one episode before. He's actually pretty good. He's got good little timing. But the premise there was Chaz got a new cock for himself as he transitioned, Gail. But he went and got this monster, gigantic cock that is so big it knocks things over when he turns around, right? And I thought to myself, I don't know how the trans people are going to feel about that one either.
Right. Yeah, he
Because that's cheating.
right, exactly. It seems like the kind of thing that like he was just gonna say it's selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically selfish. Now, I'm sure I brought this up on the air before, but I'm going to bring it up again. I've been in the restroom with Chaz Bono. Boom. Woke.
You are woke. You're very woke about it.
Maybe the most woke fucking person today. But here's the problem. Because of everything that's going on with the corona, you don't get credit for being woke anymore. You know?
No.
I'm not a
There's
hero
other
for that
things.
because everybody's giving out the hero awards to, grocers and truck drivers. I mean, they never got called first responders. They are now. What about a woke guy like myself who can walk in to a restroom with Chaz Bono and feel totally 100% comfortable? Oh. All right, Echo wrote this. He says, here's something I don't get about Earl's story, in parentheses, lies. Why did he need the past couple of days to sort things out, as he put it, regarding his mom? What needs to be sorted out? This week's ice cream menu? Chris Stanley, during an epidemic, got Earl to yell. Wasn't that funny when Earl came in?
I was shocked.
Earl started to raise his voice before then, but once Chris came on, he said, "I'm trying not to yell."
He actually said that before he even said much of anything, because I think just the sound of Chris's voice was triggering for him.
Yeah, of course.
Earl's irresponsibility is triggering for me because he what the fuck is at a Target that isn't in his fucking neighborhood that he can't fucking find? And like Peter pointed out, what is he doing all day if he has to wait till fucking 9 o'clock to go to the store? He's driving me crazy. All the Douglases are driving me crazy. The mom for fucking shoving ice cream down her throat, the dad for buying it, and Earl for lying all the time.
You know what?
What about
once,
what about the niece for bringing over her kids to check on the elderly parents?
The fucking family reunion during the coronavirus outbreak made no sense.
because they believe the other conspiracy theory, black people don't get this.
You shouldn't believe that. It's infuriating.
It is infuriating, and yet it's a sense of normalcy that I need right now. You know what I mean? I need
there's comfort.
Earl to be, Yeah, I need Earl to be totally responsible for the reason why he's in trouble, and then a couple of days to sort it out. But I think one of the biggest lies is, oh yeah, we took a couple days and went through that kitchen and made sure everything was out of there. It was such a fucking lie.
Yeah. Yeah, because now we know that this was, or at least this, either this true story or the second lie, we'll decide later, was that his dad just went and bought it for himself selfishly. So then that means there was no cleanup unless all you had to do was, Dad, what else did you buy? Did you buy any other
Right.
sweets?
And if Earl's the one doing all the shopping, how did his dad bring ice cream into the house?
Lies. Psychotic lies. I don't know what he's doing out there in Queens, but it's not fucking dealing with his parents or going through fucking refrigerators looking for anything with sugar in it.
Also, if his dad has a car that he's claimed, then why is he taking the railroad to and from the grocery store?
Oh, his car caught on fire.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. He brought that up.
That's why I tried to catch him. I thought he acted like he did take the car out.
Right.
No, he didn't. Because I thought he was saying that he took the LIE in, but he went with the train. The car burned down. When he said that, it was hilarious. How could your car catch on fire without leaving the driveway? Well, we're doing everything we can, 100%. We're getting everything out of that house. She overindulged a little too much in ice cream. One spoonful, when you're a diabetic like that, would be bad. You know what I'm saying? One spoonful. You don't have a little bit of ice cream. You're fucking diabetic. It's poison to you. You're eating a spoonful of delicious poison.
I'm sure Earl shared the ice cream with her. He's that fucking dumb.
I know he did. I bet he sat straddling her and was giving her little tiny spoonfuls of ice creams.
It's like Misery.
I bet. And then the only way that he got her sugar down was to lay a hold on to her swollen ankles when he was crying, Mama's got the sugars, Mama's got the sugars. When his mom passes away, I'm going to that funeral. I'm going to do the fucking eulogy, and I'm going to say, look around this room. You all killed your mama. You know what I mean? You're all responsible for your inability not to have sugar with every single meal. Mama, sweet tea? You want a little sweet tea, Mama? So funny. It's fucking funny.
It's insane. Every single story involving that house he lives in is just filled with fucking crazy lies he's made up in his own fucking head.
First of all, Douglas family, get this through your head. Your mom can't have a Tic Tac. Your mom can have zero fucking sugar. Zero. Not a little bit of sugar. A little bit of sugar won't hurt. Yes, it fucking will. It's the same thing as if you took a can of Raid and sprayed it down her throat. It's poison, you crazy fucking Baptist. Stop having these stories, these self-fulfilled nightmares that you're causing.
Every single
And then they all
one
go
of them.
running. Yes, every one of them is wrong, Chris. For once, you're right, you bread man. You fucking know exactly what you're talking about. All right, James has a recommendation for us, Vito.
Yes, he does. James, you're on Bennington.
Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, yeah, I have a movie recommendation. One, I think it should have been a cult classic that never caught on years ago. Pandemonium with Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman back in like 1982.
So this is before he even broke as Pee Wee Herman.
I think so. And then he was kind of doing his Pee Wee Herman character in this show. It's kind of a comedy, murder, mystery, thriller. It's fucking hilarious. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
All right, what year did he do the Showtime special? where it was like, it was more of the adult version of Pee Wee's Playhouse. Because this is the way I remember. I remember seeing him in a Cheech and Chong movie, and he was kind of Pee Wee, but he was doing a massive amount of coke, which was fucking hilarious, right? Remember that one?
I remember that. No,
Yeah.
that's a different movie. That's a different movie.
Right. So
And
I
this one,
remember seeing him there.
He's like a deputy Canadian Mountie. The Canadian Mountie, his horse rides in the car with him. It's a fucking wacky, stupid show, but it's hilarious.
I have not seen this, and he's not Pee Wee Herman, right?
No, he's not Pee Wee Herman. It's I can't remember his name in the movie, but yeah, he's just a really sarcastic character, and because the horse gets all of his thunder in the show, and so he's always jealous of the horse and pissed off at the horse. The horse's name is Bob, and he's like, "Oh yeah, but I'm sure Bob's going to get a ride in the car, isn't he?"
All right, Pandemonium. What's it playing on? Do you remember?
I streamed it a while back. I just looked it up online and watched it again a year or so ago, but it's been I can't remember what it was on.
All right, we're definitely going to watch this.
Up.
All right, thank you, brother.
I'm in.
Pandemonium, Paul Rubens, and he's, I remember when that first special hit, and it was like the early 80s, it was so fucking weirdly shocking because we had never seen anything like that before. We had no idea how this thing happened and why it seemed like a good thing to do, and it was like
Right.
it took off like wildfire.
He seems like he would have been a good candidate for SNL. Like his obviously his career went in such a strange direction, but he seems like he would have been good for that.
Well, he was always a West Coast guy. I don't know where he grew up, but he broke doing this little show. The Pee Wee Show was done at some little theater out there. I mean, even when you go back and watch the special, it's hilarious how small the whole thing was. And the people that he had around him were all like alt performers. And then I remember Letterman loved him. He would do the Letterman show, and it would be, hilarious every single time. But they were always like, well, what do we do with this guy? It can't possibly be mainstream. And then it took a while for Pee Wee's Pee Wee's Big Adventure to even get made. You know what I mean? Like they would go and meet with movie studios, and the movie studios would be like, this is hilarious, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. We could lose a lot of money on this.
It's so weird.
Well, they couldn't think. What they thought was, okay, this is going to play in, urban areas, but the suburbs are going to fucking hate this. That was always their thought.
Yeah. I mean, it's
All right, so-
it's such a bizarre sense of humor.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, and it was totally unique. It was totally a unique scene. All right, it's the Bennington Show, 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. We're all riding this thing out. And now we don't know whether it's going to be over in a week or two or longer. I mean, all we're getting is different information.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going by health professionals, they're definitely on they're singing a different tune, I think, right now than, say, Trump.
I also think, Gail, that my neighborhood is way more coroned up than yours. Am I correct with that? Like Brooklyn doesn't seem like they're getting hit as hard as Manhattan.
I think actually Brooklyn has, or at least a couple days ago, it had the most cases, I thought.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
See,
I could be wrong.
I can't
would like
keep up.
to see the stats on it, but I think when I checked maybe 2-3 days ago, Brooklyn had slightly more cases than Manhattan, and then I don't know where the rest of them fell. But
All right, congratulations then. Brooklyn is coming on
Yeah, we're feeling
strong. You know what I mean? Vito, we have Meat on the line?
We have Meat Face in Utah. Hold on
Thanks.
1 second.
We just call him by his first name.
Yeah.
Meat face, you're on Bennington.
Hey, yeah, you could just call me Meat if you like.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was actually introduced to Little Dicky by the Ron and Fez show 6 years ago. You guys played his video.
I don't remember that at all. Deb just wrote that the iBang had put something up on him years ago, and I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, you played this video, Ron. You loved it. It's called Ex-Boyfriend. You should play it now. It's really good.
All right. This is a song. All right, we'll look it up. This is Little Dicky, and he seems to be the modern day Pee Wee Herman. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it took
yes, he
years
is.
for him to go mainstream, but now he is. Cuomo apparently said today that the extreme quarantine that we are doing may be a little overkill. That got sent to me, so I'm surprised to hear that. Yeah. Looks like we're winning this thing, gang.
Don't know.
Chris Stanley, what are you hearing in your neighborhood? Is it time to start going out?
I'm not hearing anything about going outside. I know some people I've heard on the streets, but a couple of times I have gone out in the last 10 days. Some people don't think it's a big deal at all. Some people are wearing gloves and masks. I also looked up the numbers that Queens has the most coronavirus cases, followed by Brooklyn.
Stop bragging.
Followed by
Of course,
Brooklyn, then
Queens
Manhattan.
does.
I just read it's the Upper West Side.
Somebody was telling me it was Twin Oaks, Pennsylvania, and then second was Boothwyn, third was Marcus Hook, fourth, oddly, was Linwood, and then finally Trainer coming in. But a lot of those cases are unreported. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of people missing there, and they don't know whether they got the corona or they owed money and just took off. Now, this said, how is Chris's quarantine story not a lie? 5 children have gone missing in his neighborhood in 1 week.
I have to reiterate, I am not abducting any children.
Now, I don't know whether you guys seen this, but they say the cops are not really busting people now. And there is a much lower amount of crimes being reported because the cops don't want a bunch of corona animals in their precinct.
Yeah, I think suddenly you're going, is weed that important? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're going to be more cautious because you don't want to fill up those spaces if you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't want to go
would think. It's how we should have been thinking at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's not that big a deal. But also, there's money. The one people that are essential is meter maids. Meter maids are still out on the move, running around, trying to figure out who's 10 minutes late, parked in front of a building. And we're still using the parking thing as well, right? The other side parking. That's still happening during this whole time?
Yes, for whatever reason, people are still out there having to move their cars twice a week. Why?
Despite the fact they're asking you to stay inside.
Right.
Yeah. Cuomo also brought this up today. Locking young people in with old people might be more dangerous. And he says we need to take care of economic health as well as medical health. And they're looking into getting tests to people who already had it go back to work. So those are going to be the kings of the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people who had it first. That piano player from Bon Jovi is going to be doing a world tour of Bon Jovi songs, but just from the piano point of view. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. I finally got my afternoon coffee in here, Gail. I feel a little better about it. I feel more
I
like
need to
myself.
get mine.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just text Earl.
He's not
Look
thirsty.
like Look like Juju's a little more calmed down today.
Yeah, I think she's chill. She had an early nap. I think she sounds like she's in a good mood out there.
Yeah, for a change. Chris Stanley, what are you baking today?
I'm baking sesame rolls. They should be out shortly, and I'll send you all a pic.
Oh,
let's
I thought you were
get a
going to say
pic.
send us rolls.
I would love to get some sesame rolls. Delicious. And it's interesting that you seem to be doing more turkey than any kind of actual meats.
Yeah. I mean, I just ended up like the last time I went to a store, I bought 3 pounds of the sliced turkey to make turkey sandwiches.
This poor motherfucker just slicing like a bitch because you're too lazy.
Actually, I went like ham or some other sort of maybe a roast beef, but I just my mind just went towards turkey. Like I need a lot of turkey.
Sam actually tweeted this to us. Former Unmasked guest Tommy Smothers is also in that Pandemonium movie with Paul Rubens. And then he just writes, pretty cool. Yeah, that's way cool, man.
It is cool.
Yeah. All right, Vito, why don't we use this as an excuse to take another break? We got Gail back online. It's working. The quarantine show is down. It's locked in. We ran into a little trouble, and guess what? Fixed it. That's how it works in a sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm,
Right back.
We did it.
Bennington.
Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's your boy Lil Dicky, a.k.a. Mr. Leftward Sloping Penis. I got a story for y'all, man. Peep this. Yes, sir. All right, let's go.
Now I've been dating this girl named Katie, she hot as hell.
Okay.
And her body crazy, vagina shaving, and it don't smell. And I don't fall for chickens, but this one a little different by the signet. Plus she really good at making breaded chicken. Got me thinking she the one, man. Even fully close, shot it really fun, man. Get a lot of hoes, but none of those come close. I swear it's the most that I felt so damn exposed. Oh yeah, there's one more thing, and I know this shit gonna sound insane, but I still haven't hit it. I admit it, I wish I was kidding. Never been up inside before because she's only fucked one guy before. And no, I really wanna point this or she my sweetie 3.14. So I'm staying patient and masturbating, and now my heart is sorta racing, cause she said tonight will be the night we do some fornicating. Hell yeah, I'm down, I'm about to go all out. I'm gonna pound that crazy like an elaborate black man handshake. But on the way to the crib we pass this kid and he seemed to know who Katie is. So I say, who this? And she say, Dickie, this is my ex-boyfriend. I ain't usually don't wanna be the jealous type, but as I'm looking at this dude I can't believe my eyes, cause he's the best looking guy that I've seen in my whole life. He's got the thickest head of hair, chiseled jaw, and egregious bod. Man, it's the closest thing I've seen to a Grecian god. And now I'm looking at my chick cause his dick's been inside her arm. Fuck that. Oh, damn. Man, this is crazy. I can't believe this guy used to fuck my lady. I bet he left that pussy ravaged like 80. Katie's hugging and squeezing the shoulder blades, and I'm bugging and queasy. This ain't okay. And then they say, let's get drinks. So I say, okay, even though I was about to get laid. And this motherfucker look like Ashton, combined with a little Hugh Jackman. In other words, he's so damn attractive, so damn tan. He gotta have a little black, and I'm now in the back with him, sipping on some yak with him, and he paying for it all. He ain't my backing. I'm acting like I ain't distracted, but I'm reenacting him and Katie banging. And now I'm feeling pissed, so I go and take a piss midstream. I look left and guess who it is. And I had to see, and I was mad discreet. And I got on my tippy toes and took a little peek. Oh my God, Becky, look at that cock. And I usually don't wanna be the jealous type, but as I'm looking at this dick, I can't believe my eyes, because he's got the biggest cock that I've seen in my whole life. And now I'm staring at this dude's soft dick with a lot of hate, because the shit is +8 like John and Kate. And I don't know if I can date my girl after tonight. Oh, damn.
dick is really huge. I didn't realize a penis could be so smooth. I know she's missing that my penis isn't that. I'm looking closer. I think that his dick has abs.
Six pack on a dick.
Now what the fuck is that?
It's all long and thick.
It's like a punching bag.
I'm saying it's so shaven, head is amazing. Got my dick looking like a raisin. Skin tone insane, man. He's hung like Saddam Hussein. It's crazy.
What the fuck should I do?
He got a Roost Chris, dick and mine's a drive-through. I think it's time to tell Katie my goodbyes, cause I simply can't survive after seeing what was in between his thighs. So I tell her that this dude's got a dick that I don't comprehend. I had to move my neck to see it end to end. I mean, the physics of his dick just don't make any sense. And I think it's for the best if this comes to an end, because the sex with him must have been the best. And I would say let's just be friends, but I think I would just think about his dick all the time. So goodbye.
Then she told me, Diggy, I don't really know what to say, because I dated this dude in the second grade, so I don't know about his dick. Now let's go home and get you laid. And then I took her to my crib, and you know that we barely slapped. And I gave her a note like I was selling crack. And when I came, I pulled out and nutted all over her left thigh. Oh, damn.
Bennington is back. That was Little Dicky. Now that you guys heard it, do you remember it?
I don't remember it, but the iBanger sent me stuff. Vito actually did like a whole thing on this guy a couple years ago. And then when the Little Dicky TV show starts, he doesn't even update us with it.
I don't even remember writing that.
Yeah. There's a piece that you put together just a couple years ago. Now, here's the other funny thing about it. This is the show that has replaced Atlanta in America's hearts. And Vito tried so hard to put that show over with our audience. And, you know, I mean, we don't run much of an urban audience. I'll be totally honest. You get outside of Earl and Ezra, and, you know, Lewis, we start to run into some trouble after that, you know? But I'm glad to see Atlanta finally get fucking replaced, because that's a lazy show. We never even know when they're going to do a season.
It's not a lazy show.
They do 4 episodes, the season's done. Then 2 years later, you get another 6 episodes. That's laziness to me.
I promise you, Atlanta's coming back. I mean, maybe not. Who knows now? You know what? I don't even know if it's ever going to come back now. But they said they were going to come back, and they got signed for 2 more seasons.
Oh, I'm not doubting the fact that they're wanted. They're absolutely wanted. They just don't care how many episodes they do or how much time they take in between seasons. They're not the only lazy show out there. There's plenty of them. You know, I come from an old school thing. 23 episodes a year in, year out, September to May. That's how we fucking run it. I even think back in the 1960s, they used to do like 33, 34 episodes a year, like the Ironside and shit like that.
That's so funny. It was like a couple years ago. I had decided that I was going to binge every episode of the TV show Charmed. And then I found out that there was like 9 seasons. There was like 25 episodes a season, and they were all like, it was an hour-long show. And I was like, how did they produce this much TV? And now, you know, people
you know
take
how,
off.
Gail?
Huh.
Workhorses. They were workhorses in the Charmed day. Now you can sit down, binge Atlanta before Earl's mom finishes a half a gallon of fucking Rocky Road. Let's do a Sesame Roll check-in. Ever since he got quarantined, Big Chris Stanley has become a baker, and you were working on Sesame Rolls. Did this go up on our social media yet, Chris? Because that's where I want to see it first before I look at it.
Double checking to see if it's up on our social media yet. But yeah, they just came out the oven, sent over a pic to put up on social. And
they're up. Sesame Roll by Chris Stanley is up. They're tiny, but they look nice.
They're more like a dinner roll, Ron. I was going for a larger, but hey, this is the first time I tried rolls, and I'm happy with the results. I mean, I think the crust is a little bit too hard, but the actual bread itself, the inside, very fluffy, very airy. I'm happy with that, but I'll keep at it.
I want you to know something, Chris, and this is just one man's opinion. I never have a problem with hard crust. You know what I mean? To break through that crust in the nice fluffy bread is a wonderful thing. I'll tell you something else. You live in the city of New York. When we get back up and moving again, there's 38,000 restaurants in Manhattan alone, not even going into Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and there's no sense in even bringing up Staten Island.
No point.
The number of places that you can get good dinner rolls, you can get better cocaine served in most restaurants than you can get a good dinner roll. A lot of shit passes as if they have great rolls and they don't. A baker could make a fortune selling great dinner rolls.
The dinner roll is something that is totally forgotten. It seems most places are just like a store-bought roll that they're just reheating as customers come in and they flop it on a table. It's really
disgusting.
That's gross.
Now, our social media team has said this. We really need to get Chris in the act of baking. Maybe a video of him checking on his rolls, preparing the ingredients. Let us know that it's really you, because we're getting a lot of people who are crying bullshit, Chris. They just see your beautiful baked goods. I don't even think you've had to throw anything away yet, right?
No, not yet. I mean, the thing I had the most trouble with was pizzas, but I still made them and ate them. I made 3 of those. The last one, the picture I sent you was the best one. But no, I've not had to throw nothing that I've baked. I had to throw out. Everything's tasted fine to great.
Well, there's a lot. One of the problems that you have with pizza is because you can't learn overnight how to roll a pizza, how to throw it, how to do all that kind of stuff.
No,
that's something that you really got to commit to. Okay, if you ever look at a real pizza place, that crust that ends up becoming big is so thin. You know what I mean? When they throw it in there.
I know it's paper thin. That's what I'm trying to learn, Ron. This is the journey I'm on right now.
All right. As said, what about Melanie, Army Brat, Angry Black Guy, and Sade? Okay, you're right. We got some blacks. We're really doing well in that area. I'll tell you this, one thing you want in stand-up comedy is have black people in the audience.
Good audience.
Black people, gay people, number one in an audience, because they don't care who sees them laughing. What you don't want is tight-ass white women who are like, well, I look stupid when I laugh.
What about white women on a bachelorette party?
Annoying. Because that becomes more about their false sense of sexiness. They're now, and then you don't want anybody to go, this is my friend Carla, it's her special day. No, you're at you're at a comedy club. It's not her special day.
Excuse me, can you roast this bitch for me? She's going to get married.
No. And then here's what happens. They'll say, roast this bitch, but then if you say anything, they all get their feelings hurt.
How dare you,
She's not
sir.
a pig. Yeah, she's not a pig. She doesn't suck on dicks like they're a pan flute. Shut the fuck up. I'm going straight to management.
Where's your
Is your management here? Look, is your management here? Because we came here to spend money and tip well, not to be treated like this. We're all wearing funny crowns like we're princesses.
But they have dicks on them.
Yeah, get it?
Mm-hmm.
Dicks because we like dick.
Ow!
Oh boy, he just yelled out because I think he picked up a hot dinner roll. Have you already eaten one, Chris?
He scolded his throat.
Have you eaten one yet?
Yes, I have. Yes, very good. I could send a pic of the inside of one if you'd like.
Yeah, slice it open And let's see, like, the butter melting on the roll. That's one of my favorite things to see. Bread
My
porn.
butter's in the fridge, so maybe I'll throw it in the microwave.
I don't need to know every detail, Chris. I'm going to be totally honest with you right now. There's such a thing as too much information. That's why when I get a menu, Gail, I don't want to read a book. I just want to fucking see ham and eggs.
Honestly, this show, between the ice cream and bread talk, I just feel like I'm not well stocked here.
What you're thinking of is an ice cream sandwich.
Mm-hmm. But literally on bread.
This is the other thing that I want to beat Vito up. Vito, episode 1 of Little Dicky, right?
Yeah.
They're in L.A. Booze, B-O-O-S, cheesesteaks and hoagies. Did you see that? Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
And then, what did Little Dicky say? He goes, are you sure? Because I'm from Philly. I know the good bread. That had me very, very happy that he used the term good bread.
He's from Cheltenham.
Where?
Cheltenham? Cheltenham? I don't know how to pronounce it.
You got it nice the second time. You did it right, and then you panicked, threw in a mispronunciation, and then the pure panic of I don't know what I'm saying. You had no reason. You had no reason to use a word that you didn't know the pronunciation of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that at all, and yet you put yourself out there and then went into a panic. Hilarious. Gail, what else you been watching?
I just started Tiger King, King Tiger, whatever it is. I decided to do it last night. I got pushed into it. First of all, I started it and I was like, how long is this thing? And then realized this is a 7-episode. This is not a documentary. It's a 7-episode documentary series.
I mean, it's like fucking Kate plus 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's not a documentary. It's a fucking reality show.
It's crazy. But immediately it was very familiar because it kind of moves around different spots in the South. But of course, because it involves exotic animals that no person should have as, like to own personally, of course, there's a lot of Florida.
Of course.
They have almost no laws about it.
Yeah, and nowhere near the beach, I'm going to guess, right? Somewhere in the middle of Florida,
Right.
where shit gets real weird. And you
Shit
can,
gets swampy.
yeah, but you can buy a gigantic house there for like $240,000. Like for $240,000, you could have the biggest house with trailers on each side of you.
So there's a lot of big cats, but the opening of it is so great. Because these people who are like kind of into owning these exotic animals, there's a guy who's talking and he's just like, the people who are into monkeys, they're pretty crazy. They're a weird group. But the exotic big cat people, they're backstabbers. You got to watch out for them. Like there's personality types with each exotic animal group.
There was always a thing to people in Florida who would own big gators and even some crocs, which seems like it should be against the law to bring crocs into a place that they can survive. But I don't know what you do with it. Like, come on down, I got some chicken, let's feed the gators. And you're just in your backyard chucking these fucking big hunks of chicken into these gators, or they lay in some muddy goddamn gullet that you've lined up for yourself.
Yeah. Even with gators, you're not even going to be dealing with the personality. At least these people who have lions and tigers and stuff, they have some relationship with them.
Yeah. I think if I had to own an exotic animal, I'm going to go maybe a giraffe. I think it would be pretty fucking cool to own a giraffe and to have to feed him while you're holding on to a pole. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to put a salad on an old clothes pole from the 1950s, put it up in the air. Because I think a giraffe is the nuttiest thing I've ever been close up to.
Oh, yeah. It's like an alien.
Vito, if you had to own an exotic animal, what animal would you go to?
I think a zebra because they're really colorful, and I feel like you could ride it like a horse.
Well, you could get on its back, but you can't train a zebra to run you around. They don't have that kind of personality. I never saw. I mean, you think we'd see at least one movie with a guy riding a zebra, and you just don't.
I think they're more petite, you know.
I've
They're
lost weight,
smaller.
Gail.
Oh, true.
I know, but you're still a big boy, and your feet are going to be dragging along because the zebra's not as big as a horse.
But I mean, I feel like if I really focus on this zebra, like if I'm getting a zebra and I'm owning it, I feel like I got nothing but time to learn how to ride it.
I also want to
You
point
mean
something
in the
out.
whole quarantine?
Yeah.
I feel like you mentioned, yes, they do have an interesting pattern, but you described it as colorful, and I don't know if that's what I would call something black and white.
Black and white is not colorful. Greg sent this in for Chris Stanley. Chris needs to know that butter can also make the bread. No unsalted butter would be on a list of worthy butter. I cringed when he said it was in the fridge. It never needs to be. Greg Brick Sr. laying some fucking rules down on Chris Stanley.
Yeah.
Now, remember, Chris is just a young upstart here. You know what I mean? He's still wet behind the ears. He's still a fucking freshman, you know? He's a mouth-breathing animal when it comes to some of this stuff. That's why he's got his butter in the fridge.
Mm-hmm. Easily.
Because he's pure white trash.
He's
we
King
got
Tiger.
Chris back? Yeah.
I'm back.
What are you doing with your What are you doing with your butter in the fridge?
I feel like that's the safe way to keep it. Is that not true?
No, that's why there's a butter dish in this world, Chris. A baker should know that, okay? A baker
I gotta
should know.
invest in one.
I think it's a giant investment to make a butter dish. You know, you got to put some stuff away. I'll also admit this, Gail. The Little Dicky song is not leaving my head. It's stuck there.
Yeah. It has that quality. Like, I think I'll be singing it later today.
It's too fast for me ever to remember the lyrics, you know. But I got that ba 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 stuck there. Bennington show in quarantine. We had some slight technical problems working it out today, and it's all flowing. But I told you this before, gang. Every day we're at least going to have one technical problem that has to be overcome. Let's always hope that it's not me, because I'll have no idea where to start and finish, and talking me through does not work. You're going to have to send a corona victim over here with some tools to fix my shit.
Yeah, I can't really imagine you on a call with Beanock.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I'll go, can't you fix it from there? Vito, here's some breaking Mets news. Have you seen it already?
No, is it good?
Syndergaard. No, it's never good. And I feel like I jinxed Thor, the big man. Syndergaard has torn his UCL, and he's out for the entire coronavirus season.
Fuck. It's just fucking. I literally was texting my friend today saying, you know what, it would be fucking hilarious if the goddamn Mets won a World Series this year and then they had to deal with people talking shit about the shortened season, but I fucking knew that something would happen to ruin the season before it even started.
Gail, did you ever notice that Vito is the easiest guy to get along with until it turns to his sports team, and then he's furious.
He's
This
like
is
that Jimmy
exactly... Yeah, well, if you watch the first movie, the English one, that guy went real crazy over his soccer team, which I believe was Arsenal, and that's how Vito is with the Mets. I wish that. Yeah, go ahead, Vito.
I straight up told my girlfriend, like, you're not going to see me on weekends unless you're at Citi Field during baseball season. Like, you're welcome to join me. You have me during the week, but Fridays and Saturdays, those belong in Flushing. And she said, maybe I could do one game a month. And I said, maybe one game a homestand.
Oh boy, see where this is going, Gail?
Oh no. Don't ruin this relationship for the Mets. She's too great.
She can go to Citi Field. They have tons of perks for her. They have free hat day. They have free glove day.
She doesn't want these
Um,
things.
If you're not a fan of something, you really don't want the hat or glove. And I'm not even sure if there's going to be a season. What are people going to sit 6 feet away from each other while they watch?
Honestly, Ron, now I'm hoping there isn't a baseball season after hearing this news. And then by the time baseball season does come, me and her will be too far in this relationship for her to not go to Mets games, the way I look at it.
I think that you're already taking her for granted.
No, I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
And I spend we've been video chatting a lot. Tonight we're gonna stream a movie and video chat and watch a movie together.
That's really sweet.
So I don't take her for, I miss her very much. This is a rough little patch in the relationship, but I do not take her for granted.
Love in the time of
That's
Corona.
nice. Yeah. That's really, really nice. Also, I'm going to ask a personal favor of the social media people. And I think if that you talk to them as adults, they're going to act like adults. So please feel free to comment on any of the pictures that we put up. But I don't want to see Chris Stanley called Shrek over and over again. Let's face it, he's an attractive man and doesn't look like Shrek.
Honestly, for some reason, that comes up a lot, I've noticed. Not just with Chris. I feel like it's an insult that was not common before, but now everyone's in order to call someone ugly, they say Shrek.
The truth is there was a picture years ago, maybe even going back to NEW days, and there was a thing of Earl next to a Shrek action figure, and he looked exactly like Shrek. I mean, facially, it's unbelievable. I'll see if our social media team can find that. It's going back a ways, but he did look like the Shrek action figure. But Shrek is now normal for ugly. I didn't know this.
I feel like I hear it a lot these days.
I can't keep up with the youngsters. Shrek, Little Dicky, it's all going past me so fucking fast. Well, I'll say this that gets overused quite a bit is comparing any political person to Hitler. I think
All the
people
time.
really don't know much about Hitler if they figure they can say no matter what side of the aisle you're on, that's Hitler.
Yeah, that one comes up a lot, and then for some reason doesn't get very much blowback, which you would think it would. Like, hey, look, I know we disagree about these things, but we can't be calling people Hitler. That's just accepted.
I'm gonna send you this picture of Jenny Q's little 15-month-old baby, adorable. And you know what I like, Gail? Since the hair's short, big ribbon, big old school ribbon in the head.
Nice.
So there's no confusion like Juju runs all the time, because
know.
Juju's got a little masculine energy going back and forth in her attitude.
Every day somebody is like, hello, young man. Like,
Dude,
that's
last
very-
night I was watching Pamela Adlon do a live on Instagram, and she had her daughters with them, and they were dancing and singing and having a little wine. And her middle daughter is like kind of tall and lanky and keeps, like her mom, has both masculine and feminine energy. But to me, she looked like a young David Brenner dancing. I thought she was just adorable.
Yeah, I was following her because she was posting some videos up of her and her girls, and I was cracking up because I honestly was like, this actually might be more of a madhouse than she even depicts her TV life.
This Instagram live with her and her daughters, they were singing a lot of Tribe Called Quest. It's very, very big in the Adlon clan, right?
Nice.
And I was thinking to myself, this is as good as an episode. This is so highly entertaining. It's as good as an episode. And, you know, the weird thing and fun thing about Pamela is she lets her family have their own personality. She doesn't need to kind of snap back the way Vito's mom has to do with him all the time. Like, Vito, stop it. You're embarrassing me. Gail, I'm going to send this to your email.
Okay.
Picture is adorable, though. It's really funny when it comes to kids. It's either like some people just love babies, love kids, want them around all the time, or you're the type that doesn't. All right, Chris is going out of his way not to put himself in these pictures. And for some reason, this seems to be a very big Chris Stanley photo op with his bread. He puts the butter near it, not on it.
Uh-oh, I had my once a day break-in.
Is that
yes.
the 20-month-old? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Look, come here.
Milk. She wants some milk. Hey, go to Chris for me, would you, Vito?
Chris,
I'm
you
here.
there?
I'm here.
Why do you love the picture of the butter near the bread?
Ron, I feel like that's my calling card. That's almost my signature for these bread photos. Also, it might be hard to notice, but I melted a bunch of butter and poured it onto the bread itself.
No, I saw that, and that, by the way, that might taste delicious, but it doesn't look delicious. It doesn't show up the same way in pictures. But I have never seen the picture of the butter near the bread. But, you know, I know that you're getting bread magazines delivered to you now. Now, is she breastfeeding or just hanging out, Gail?
She's hanging right now.
Yeah.
She's just hanging.
You want to get her to say hi?
Juju, come say hi. It's Pop Pop. You want to say hi, Pop Pop?
She doesn't want to.
She has her own ideas.
She's a sham, shy ham. That's what your great-grandmother is. That was her line, always about the kids. That, you know, she wanted the kids to entertain when her friends were around. And then she would call them a sham, a shy ham. And I'm like, that's not what sham means. But oddly, it does line up pretty close.
It works.
You know? Yeah. Because a sham means that everything about you is just bullshit. But
she is like that. She's very A-type personality, but it does make me laugh that, like, initially, like the first 5-10 minutes of a social situation, she like puts on like a fake shy thing.
Yeah. My mom would say when the kids would be nervous around people, she calls them backwards. Oh, don't mind her. She's just backwards. You're like, what? That sounds like a mental problem. I wouldn't perform for people when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah, there's tremendous pressure there.
Huge amount of pressure. I did like when my sister would take me in her room and make me sing into a hairbrush, though. Can we get a microphone, or are we so fucking poor that we have to take a hairbrush and pretend that I'm on stage with it? Now, did you send these over, Chris, to go up online, these pictures?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Your butter next, yeah. Let me know when they get up. But to me, your calling card, I mean, I get it. It's yours. It belongs to you. All right. Bob Funk wrote this, Vito. And please take it with a grain of salt, okay?
Okay.
It says, Ron, it's the Mets. To get people to 6 feet from each other during a game, they'd have to double their attendance.
That's bullshit. The Mets
No, it's
do
not.
the Mets do just as well as any other baseball. Baseball is not a fucking very popular sport these days. And you know what? Across the entire league, games aren't really selling out. So I'd like to tell him that it's not just the Mets.
All right. Also, this got sent. It says, Chris, you cut your rolls the wrong way, dummy. You're supposed to cut the roll like a biscuit and put the butter on top, dummy. It's dummy twice.
Who's the fucking genius who was able to tweet that out?
Now, here's the thing, Chris. I'm looking at your picture, and yeah, that is not the way you cut a roll. You don't cut a roll north to south.
I was doing it for effect to see the aeration of the bread. So the person who tweeted that is indeed the dummy, not I.
What she want, Gail?
She wants to see the bread. I was looking at the bread.
Yeah, let us see the bread. I like the fact Chris is using the word aeration. Very, very exciting.
To me, it looks like a very dense bake.
It could have been
Chris. Yeah.
But it's all a process, you know?
No.
Now, Chris, I'm just curious, is the reason you won't take a picture of you baking, is it because that you bake in the nude?
I mean, why would I wear a shirt if I'm baking? Or pants.
Look, I got no problem with the nude baker, but I would like to see some video of you baking, Chris. I want to find out why Swedish Fish Mafia has put up this thing when your friend Sam says that she's meeting people, but she's still living with her family. Why are you putting up Jersey Shore stuff, Vito?
I just realized today that a lot of Jersey Shore clips could be used to make people realize they should stay home and they should be careful. So I edited out specific Jersey Shore clips that relate to the coronavirus, like, you know, what happens when your friend isn't social distancing or things like that.
Is it catching on?
I'm getting a lot of replies to it. I'm pretty excited.
I actually wrote to him and said, do you mind if I share this with some friends?
Thank you, Gail.
Earl, Gail, do you follow Norris at all? Because I think that you would like to see her. She's got her very handsome Dominican brother in a lot of these videos. And it seems like their whole family is going straight sweatpants for the entire quarantine.
Nice.
But Norris has a very, very handsome family all the way around. And they're constantly... It's like the whole family is together all the time for every Sunday and holiday. And they'll go from little babies to grandparents. And yet, anyone of age is dirty dancing in front of the children and elderly. But it's totally normal in that society. You don't see anyone going, what the why are you dancing with your cousin like that?
By the way, that was Juju seeing baby Ava. So cute. She's so cute. Look at that baby.
Maybe they could do a Zoom together.
I know. It was a nice Zoom hangout. It's a new weird, I guess.
I'll tell you what, that baby has very serious eyes too, right?
She does.
Like she looks like she gets it all. I had like fucking Barney Google eyes when I was little. I'd see a picture of me and I'm like, that kid's going nowhere. I'd see a picture of me and I go, no wonder I was so fucked up as a young person. Oh, my sister and mom got into this gimmick the other night that was driving me nuts. Their whole thing was, and this came out of my dancing video. They said that's the way that when like I was in 10th grade, I would come home like that, 3 o'clock in the morning. They said that they could never get me to sneak into the house. Like my family, rather than saying like get home early, would just say, can you please sneak into the house like you're wrong and don't want to be caught? We don't want to hear you singing at 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't want to hear you fucking putting on records and dancing around. Please sneak the fuck in. It never was in my mind to do that, though.
You just are who you are.
Yeah, people hate people that accept themselves, I accept my flaws. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm totally okay with my flaws. Vito, we're getting ready to wrap this up, and I got to say this. You're still the MVP, buddy. Still the MVP.
Definitely.
And you're not crashing around like you were yesterday. You seem to be calmer in the studio.
I feel really good in this bass I have set up here in my new studio.
Wait, new studio? What are you talking about?
I am in a new studio. I'm in the comedy office upstairs. Much bigger setup. I got couches in here.
Oh.
Yes, Juju.
Hi-oh.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I love hearing her. By the way, I like it when she says my name best. So, if you want to keep training her to do that. But so you've moved into, who normally uses that office?
In here is usually Jacob, Andy Fury, Paul, Lou Witt. And yeah, that's those four usually in here. And then sometimes like Netflix Radio will come out of here, like Tom Papa will do a show when he's in New York.
What's up, Juju?
She's saying that this microphone is Dada's, and it's just really not true.
Just give it to him. If it's his, it's his. You got to get your own microphone. She gets that for when he's spinning.
Say hi, Pop Pop. No. Oh, okay.
She doesn't want to. As far as she's concerned, as far as she's concerned, she has no grandfather.
What happened between you guys?
Well,
bad blood.
The thing is, I tend to lecture. I'm like, when I was a little kid, we didn't have corona disease,
Yeah,
Just give him back his microphone. That's his.
It's not his. He does not require a microphone for work. This is Mama's. Don't you think? Isn't this Mama's?
Mama's.
Yeah.
Mama's. Mama's shoes. My cutie.
Juju, did you get to watch Elsa today? Yeah, Elsa.
Can you do me a favor and just put the Flintstones on for her?
She has no interest.
Chris Stanley, you're going to like this. You got a rave on your little sesame seed dinner rolls. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Looks great. We need to make a hoagie on Baker Chris Stanley's sesame seed long roll, and that comes from the one and only Hoagie Dom.
Holy shit, I've arrived. That's fucking crazy.
Now, what he's talking about is like a nice big hoagie roll seated on the outside. That's what Sarcones does. Now, believe it or not, Chris, there are some old timers who are like, there shouldn't be seeds on a hoagie roll. We never had those before. I went all the way down to Wildwood, never saw any seeds on a hoagie roll. But the fact is, and I hate to say this, life moves on long after the thrill of living is gone. You know what I mean? Let it rock. Let it roll. Let the Bible Belt come and save my soul. Okay? I got that from Mr. John Cougar Mellencamp. You kids are going to want a sesame seed roll, and you might end up putting a little mayo on with the oil. What do I know? She having a bad mood in the other room, Gail?
Yeah, she's in the other room now. I might go
You
grab
send her out? Yeah. You can't keep
she
sending her
wandered
out. Oh, okay. If you want, send her over a couple of days to Chris Stanley's baking camp. He's going to open up a quarantine baking camp for all the children in Brooklyn. Have you been back to your apartment since the quarantine has started, Chris?
No. So I know for sure that my apartment is COVID free. That is a safe space.
Although there was a 7-alarm fire in Astoria last night.
Oh God, no! Please, not all my things that I have there.
All my lovely things.
I think I got a couple of laptops. I got a TV in there.
Chris Stanley lives like the movie Heat. He is 30 seconds away from being able to walk away from everything.
I cherish nothing, Rod.
No, of course you haven't. She finally heard her pop up.
Yeah. Is that pop up? Yeah.
She's not even going to remember pop up, and when this whole quarantine thing is over, you know what I mean?
She's just gonna think that you were just some guy on Zoom.
Exactly. I'm no different to her than Mr. Hooper on Sesame Street. See, still around?
I lived so far away from my grandparents. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You were very close. By the way, I am stunned about this. I thought if anyone was going to have the fucking bug, it was going to be me, because the amount of travel I did before we found out about this bug. You know, I'd been in, I don't know how many fucking airports, how many theaters doing meet and greets, all these stupid fucking casinos that I'm playing and ships. I'm like, well, if anyone's got, I quarantined from the beginning because I didn't want to make anybody sick. I got to be getting close to what is it, 12 days?
Yeah, getting there. But hopefully if you, maybe you had it and you're over it.
No, I definitely haven't been sick. I had a slight cold. Do you think that was it?
It is that way for some people. For some people, they're completely asymptomatic. Other people, it's like a bad cold. Other people, it's like a super intense flu.
Now, 12 days for me will be tomorrow, okay? Because the other Friday was the last time that I've been in the theater in upstate New York. So from this point on, of Wednesday, what's that mean? I can just go out, live my life like normal?
No, absolutely not. You still have the rest of the world, because not everybody has been doing social distancing. And then if you look at Italy, we're, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks behind them. And their numbers just have started to become crushing.
Yeah. Andy Fiore not happy that Vito has taken over his office. Not happy at all. So as soon as this coronavirus is gone, we're going to have a boxing match.
I would love to.
I got news for you. I saw Andy Fiore right before this started. He was as thin as I ever saw him. He looked fantastic. And he had women. He was wearing women like they were fucking jewels, just all over himself. I also had to travel day back, and I had to stop at some diners and pick up some stuff. I wonder if that should be considered part of my corona thing as well. Because I drove up and back there, and there was a diner that they were spraying and we were spraying, and we were all just too caught up. I'm like, I really shouldn't be in a diner right now. And they're like, what would you like to eat? We have this huge menu. I go, what's the least amount of corona I could possibly have? You know what I mean? What little, could you just hard boil some eggs without breaking them at all? I'll be the one who breaks them underneath that corona shield that I have. I noticed with all the pictures Earl has taken, he hasn't gone to Chinatown yet.
Yeah, good point.
That would be the most valuable out there.
Yeah.
The Chinatown pics. Little Italy, they were able to close in 2 minutes. There was only 3 stores left.
Yeah.
All right, so Vito, with this new setup, you think you got our technical problems taken care of?
I do. I think from this new headquarters, everything is great. I got more room to move around. Everything's at my fingertips. I think I sound better in here.
You do.
And I think the comedy office is my new domain, and I won't be leaving.
Do you have any problem with calling it Furyville?
I do, because if Andy Fury has an issue with me being in here, then he can brave the Corona airs and come in and pull me out.
He said that Andy Fury said that he's furious about it. And he goes, also, how does Chris Stanley know anything about baking when he gets the worst sandwiches in Astoria? And then he brought up that they shut down Chris Stanley's favorite sandwich place.
It's really sad. But Andy Fiore doesn't know shit about sandwiches. He goes to that garbage place, A&F. What the fuck does he know?
I know this, Chris, and I don't want to go against you, but he knows that the butter goes on the bread, not somewhere near the bread.
Look, this is my calling card. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I have my own thing that I do, okay? I'm just throwing it out there.
Quick question. Do you put the turkey another 2 feet away the other way? He's social distancing his lunch meat. Real quick, Gail, do you call it lunch meat or cold cuts?
I call it lunch meat.
Chris Stanley, lunch meat or cold cuts?
Cold cuts.
Vito, cold cuts, lunch meat?
Cold cuts.
I have never once in my life called it cold cuts. To me, if you're cold, you got to be like ice or ice cream, the stuff that Earl's mom eats by the trash can. Lunch meat is cool not cuts? That cold. It's cool at best. At best, it's in the refrigerator, not in the freezer. It's not fucking cold. Plus, if you have it for lunch, you're carrying it around in a bag or whatever. It's basically a warm cut by the time you bite into it.
There's also a third option, which I don't call it either that I've heard, but some people say deli meats. Just deli meats.
Excuse me, it's redundant. You're buying it in a deli, okay? Mm-hmm. And some of that is cheeses or non-meats. So shut the fuck up, deli meat people. That's good stupid.
Yeah.
For years, I thought cold cuts was spelled COLECUTS, and it was just its own meat.
Vito, I beg you this, right? Ask questions early on in your confusion. Stop assuming that you know what things are.
Yeah, anytime my mom said she packed cold cuts, I thought it was a specific thing in the sandwich. I had no idea what was going on.
Ask her. She's got the time to answer you. She doesn't want you to go through life like an ignoramus. And Chris, you learned something new too today. The butter goes on the bread, not close to it.
Ron, I understand the butter. When I ate the bread, after I took the picture, I put the butter on the bread. But for the photo, for effect, I put it next to the bread.
Yeah, Pop-Up. Pop-Up is doing a show. I love Pop-Up.
Me too.
Yeah, that's true.
Juju what?
I don't know. Sometimes I just agree with what she's saying.
Juju pronunciation. It's very, very important. That's Pop-Up. That's the man that you got the world's best Pop-Up hat for, which I cherish.
She just burped into the mic.
Yeah. That was loud, Juju.
Oh, that goes in your ear, not your mouth.
What goes in your ear? Nothing does.
The earbud.
Oh, okay. That's good. I thought it was like a fork or something. She's just sucking on an earbud. That's where most of the corona is.
I'm sure it is.
Juju, we got to wrap this one up, and I don't know why she waits to the end of the show. I worry that she thinks we have a very short show here.
You want to say bye-bye to Pop-Up? Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Pop-Up. Bye-bye, baby. I love you.
Say I love you. Nana. Yeah, where's Nana?
Well, she doesn't do the radio, but yeah. Dada and Nana don't do the radio. They think it's stupid. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Pop-Up's going to send you $35 in an envelope.
Oh, that's nice. That's so generous.
Yeah.
Hello, Juju. Hello, Juju.
Hello, Juju. Hello, Juju. She wants me to say hello. Hello, Juju.
Bye-bye, Juju.
Bye-bye, Juju. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Juju.
We got to wrap this up, and it's a normal bye-bye Juju day today. Most kids don't say goodbye to herself. She does. Yeah. All right, we're wrapping this up. Great job today, Vito. You're working out the technical stuff. It hasn't been easy, but you're crushing it. Chris Stanley, Bread Boy, congratulations, my man.
Thank you, Rob.
The bread looks fantastic.
The Bennington Show has ended, but you can always listen to it on demand on the SiriusXM app and on SiriusXM.com.